Have you ever walked through your house and felt like the walls were closing in? Like there's just too much stuff everywhere, but you're not quite sure what to do about it? Maybe it's that old recliner in the corner that no one sits in anymore, or a closet filled with clothes you haven't worn since the 90s. It happens so slowly we barely notice. A little here, a little there. Before you know it, the home you've lived in and loved for decades starts feeling heavier. But here's the truth. As we get older, especially in the years leading up to 70, what we really want is peace. Space to breathe. A home that reflects who we are today, not who we were 30 years ago. And that's why today, we're going to gently and lovingly talk about something important: decluttering. Not in a way that feels overwhelming or cold. This isn't about stripping your life down to bare walls. It's about letting go of the things that no longer serve you, so you can hold on more tightly to the things that do. Because your home should make you feel lighter, not burdened. And yes, we're going to talk about 6 specific types of items that many of us still keep around, often without even realizing how much they're quietly weighing us down. Let's start with something most of us have: old, worn-out furniture. Think about that chair in the corner you never sit in. The table that's a little too big for the room. The cabinet with drawers that stick and frustrate you every time you open them. These pieces may have had their time, their purpose, but are they still serving you now? Take Walter, for example. He's 73, and he's been in the same cozy house for nearly 40 years. Over time, he filled it with all kinds of furniture. Some inherited, some bought during sales, some given to him by friends. And for a while, it was fine. But as the years passed, something changed. It started to feel cramped. Cleaning became more of a chore. Walking through rooms felt like navigating a maze. His daughter came over one day and gently pointed out, "Dad, you've got 5 chairs in the living room, and you only use 2. At first, he laughed it off. But later that night, he started really looking around. That wobbly recliner? No one sat in it. The huge coffee table? It made the room feel tighter than it needed to be. So he took a deep breath and began letting go, one piece at a time. And you know what happened? His home felt bigger, brighter, easier, and so did he. There's something incredibly freeing about releasing what no longer adds value to your life. Because furniture is meant to support you, not frustrate you. And when you clear it out, you're not just making space in a room, you're making space in your day-to-day life. You deserve a home that you can move through with ease, not one that trips you up at every turn. And if you're wondering where to start, here's a little question you can ask yourself. When was the last time I used this? If you can't remember, chances are it's time to let it go. Now, while we're talking about things that take up space, let's walk into another room that often hides a quiet kind of clutter: the closet. You know the one. The one packed with clothes that don't quite fit anymore, or maybe never did. Dresses from events long gone. Pants you're hoping might fit again one day. Shoes that hurt your feet but look too nice to throw out. Let's be honest, it happens to all of us. And sometimes we hold on to these clothes, not because we wear them, but because of what they represent. A time when we were younger, thinner, busier, or a memory tied to an old dress or a special jacket. But the thing is, your closet should serve the woman you are now, not the one you used to be. Take Carol, for instance. She's 71 and still full of life, but every morning she'd stand in front of her closet and feel stuck. So many clothes, and yet nothing felt right. She realized she was wearing the same few outfits over and over again, while the rest of her wardrobe just took up space. So she decided to do something brave. She took it all out, every last piece. And she sorted it honestly, what she loved and wore, what didn't fit, and what she was only keeping just in case. The hardest pile to let go of was the just-in-case clothes. But as she released those old outfits, something unexpected happened. She felt lighter. Every morning got easier. Her closet became a space of calm, not confusion. She was no longer holding on to a version of herself that no longer existed. And that, my friend, is powerful. Because when you declutter your clothes, you're not just making room on a hanger. You're clearing mental space. You're making it easier to dress with joy, with comfort, with ease. And maybe, just maybe, you're even giving someone else the chance to enjoy something you haven't worn in years. And that's really what this journey is about. Not giving up, not letting go in a sad way, but making space for freedom, simplicity, and ease. So take a gentle look around your home. That chair in the corner, that jacket in the back of your closet. If it's not serving you, if it's not bringing you joy or function or comfort, it might be time to say thank you and let it go. And if you've made it this far, I just want to say you're already doing something beautiful. You're not just watching a video. You're choosing to care for yourself, your space, and your peace of mind. And that's something to be proud of. You know, once you begin this process of letting go, you start to notice clutter in places you never really paid attention to before. It's not just the big things like chairs and closets. Sometimes it's the tiny things, tucked away in drawers, cabinets, or medicine shelves, that quietly build up over the years. Let's take a walk into the bathroom. Or maybe your kitchen drawer, where you stash odds and ends. How many bottles are hiding there? Expired medications, half-used lotions, tubes of ointment from who knows when. Most of us keep these things just in case, thinking they might come in handy one day. But the truth is, many of them are long past their usefulness, and some can even be unsafe. Edward, who's 74 and sharp as a tack, always took pride in keeping his home neat. But one day, while searching for a bandage, he opened his medicine cabinet and realized it was overflowing. Bottles of painkillers from 10 years ago, expired prescriptions, sunscreen he hadn't used since his grandkids were in diapers. He stood there for a moment, a little stunned. How had it gotten so full? That night, he took it all out, every box, every bottle, and checked the labels. Most were expired. Some had lost their labels altogether. And as he tossed them one by one, he didn't feel wasteful. He felt relieved. Because now, when he opens that cabinet, he sees only what he needs. No confusion, no hidden dangers, just simplicity. That's the thing. Clearing out old medications and toiletries isn't just about being tidy. It's about safety. It's about ease. It's about knowing what you have and using it with confidence. You deserve that clarity. And once you've cleared out the bathroom, your eye might drift over to the kitchen counter. Maybe there's a stack of mail there, or a drawer full of old papers, receipts, manuals for appliances you no longer own. Paper clutter is sneaky. It hides in folders, boxes, bins. And over the years, it piles up until you start to feel like your home has a paper trail of your entire adult life. Susan, 72, had one of those old metal filing cabinets. You know the kind, heavy, beige, and filled with papers dating back to the Reagan administration. One day, while searching for an insurance policy, she found herself digging through electric bills from 1991 and receipts from stores that didn't even exist anymore. That's when she realized it was time. She didn't rush. She gave herself a week, doing a little at a time. She sorted out what mattered, important legal papers, medical records, a few tax documents, and shredded the rest. And when she finished, something remarkable happened. Not only was her filing cabinet half empty, but her mind felt clearer. She could finally find what she needed without sifting through decades of dust. Decluttering paper isn't about erasing the past. It's about honoring the present. Most of what we keep out of habit isn't serving us. It's simply reminding us of a time that no longer needs our attention. And in today's world, many of those important documents are available digitally anyway. What you really need is a small, well-organized set of papers that support your life now, not a box of confusion that weighs on you every time you open it. And while we're in the kitchen area, there's another kind of clutter that deserves a little attention. All those gadgets, pots, pans, and mismatched Tupperware taking up cabinet space. It's amazing how quickly it builds up. Maybe you bought that fancy blender with good intentions. Or you've been saving a set of dishes for a special occasion that never quite came. You might even have 4 spatulas but only ever use one. That was Harold's story. At 75, his kitchen looked like something out of a cooking show, except he didn't really cook anymore. Years of gifts, impulse buys, and duplicates had left every drawer stuffed, every shelf overflowing. And every time he needed something simple, like a pan or a spoon, he had to dig through the mess. One afternoon, while trying to find a lid that fit a pot, he got so frustrated he said out loud, "I don't even like this kitchen anymore." And that's when it hit him. His kitchen had become a source of stress, not joy. So he started small, one cabinet at a time. If he hadn't used something in a year, he set it aside. If he had multiples, he kept his favorite and let the rest go. The bread maker that had only been used once? Donated. The cracked mixing bowl? Tossed. By the end of the week, his kitchen felt like a brand new space, lighter, cleaner, and a whole lot more peaceful. That's what this journey is about. Not getting rid of everything. Not making your home look like a magazine, but creating a space that works for you. A space that supports you, makes daily tasks easier, and gives you room to breathe. Because you've done enough for everyone else. Now it's time to make things easier for you. You don't need to keep a broken appliance because it cost money years ago. You don't need to hold on to 8 coffee mugs when you only use 2. And you certainly don't need to dig through drawers every time you cook a simple meal. This stage of life is about simplifying with grace. And each time you let go of something that no longer fits, you're not losing. You're gaining freedom. You're clearing the path for ease, for peace, and for joy in the everyday. And now, we come to perhaps the hardest category of all. Not because it takes up the most space, but because it tugs on the deepest part of the heart, sentimental items. You know the ones I mean. Boxes of old letters from people you once loved. Trinkets from vacations long past. Birthday cards tucked away in drawers. Gifts from relatives who have since passed on. These aren't just things. They're memories, emotions, pieces of time you're afraid to lose. But here's a gentle truth. Keeping everything doesn't mean you're holding on to the love. And letting go doesn't mean you're letting go of the memory. Margaret, who just turned 77, knows this well. When she downsized to a smaller home, she found herself facing a mountain of memory-filled boxes. Inside were souvenirs from every trip she ever took, letters from high school sweethearts, her children's old art projects, and every holiday card she'd received since 1973. At first, she couldn't bring herself to part with any of it. Each item told a story, reminded her of a moment, a feeling, a person she didn't want to forget. But then she realized something. She hadn't looked at most of it in decades. The boxes were stacked in closets, in the garage, in the back of the linen cupboard. The memories weren't living, they were collecting dust. So Margaret did something brave. She sat with each box. She gave herself permission to keep the items that still made her smile. The wedding album she still looked through now and then, a few treasured letters from her mother, a small handful of souvenirs that truly brought her joy. The rest? She let it go. Some things she donated. Others she photographed and kept digitally. And many she simply thanked and released. The result? Not emptiness, but peace. Because here's what many of us forget. Memories don't live in things. They live in us. They live in our hearts, in the stories we tell, in the love we carry forward every day. You don't need to keep every greeting card or every faded photo to honor your life. What you need is space, to breathe, to live, to feel free. And when you let go of the items that no longer serve you, you make more room for the things that do. Quiet mornings with a cup of coffee, space for your grandchildren to play when they visit, clarity when you open your drawers and closets, knowing that everything in there has a purpose. Decluttering isn't about loss. It's about returning to yourself. It's about stepping out from under the weight of too much and stepping into a chapter that's lighter, simpler, and more joyful. So as we wrap up this time together, take a deep breath. You've done so much. You've lived through so many seasons, held onto so many roles, loved so many people, and now you get to turn toward you. Your comfort, your peace, your home. Maybe today you'll just clear out one drawer, or take a look at that closet with fresh eyes. Maybe you'll sit with a box of letters and choose the ones that still speak to your soul. Whatever step you take, it counts. It matters. Because every step toward simplicity is a step toward freedom. And I'd love to hear from you. What item are you ready to let go of? What part of your home is calling out for a fresh start? Leave a comment below and let us know. You might just inspire someone else to begin their own journey toward a lighter, happier life. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Your support means so much, and it helps us continue creating content that serves you, because you deserve a home and a life that feels peaceful and free. Here's to living with less, but feeling more. Here's to lightening the load, one beautiful choice at a time. And here's to you, exactly as you are, right now. Still growing, still glowing, still becoming. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and your space.